Dan Trink, we
Kyle
meet
Fields.
again.
Yes, in such a familiar place.
So I heard that group fitness was dead.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it over?
Is it over? No, I think so. It's interesting. I think in one way it's like greatly exaggerated. You know, that quote, like, rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I think there's a little bit of that. But then there's other causes for concern where I think, we're at the point in this like kind of post-pandemic-ish world where people are looking to get back into fitness, and at some levels group fitness. And then rather than a bunch of places opening, we still hear about places closing down. So it's hard to say, but I think a lot of things in the news lately are saying, that fitness is hitting a downturn. And I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I definitely think things are changing.
What do you think people want to pay for in fitness? I think the general public, like what are they paying money to get? Spaces, environments, equipment, effects. Like what is it really that people want?
All right, I can answer that question in 2 words. One is connection, and the second is time. I think people want to feel connected to the fitness they're doing, that it is meaningful to them, that they're doing it around other like-minded people who share the enthusiasm and make the experience better. I think the days of just slogging it out in your own corner of the gym it's just decreasing the people's desire to do that. And you have to be like a special person to really like be able to do that every day and have it be meaningful and keep going back to it. And then secondly, I think time. I think people value their time. They want their fitness to be as efficient as possible while being as effective as possible. So if they feel connected to it, if they feel connected to the community of it, to the effect and the feeling of it, and then if it's as efficient as possible in getting them where they want to go, I think if you can deliver those 2 things, then people will flock to you and keep with it, and it'll be successful.
So do you see group fitness fitting into that at all? And when I say group fitness, I'm talking about classes that have 15 or more, 15 to 70 people in them. Is that going to continue to be a thing, grow, decline? My thought is that it's going to get eaten up by online, by things like Peloton, because I think that you're delivering an experience that is way more convenient, is a way higher production value, that's led by celebrity instructors, that has built-in social media connections with an army of people. And really, you're getting the same workout, the same group style workout where you're falling in line with this protocol, with this procedure.
Right. I mean, I think I think that's totally true. And I agree with you. I think that's where it's heading. I think there's 2 like kind of challenging pitfalls, which is one, I still think a lot of times group fitness, particularly in urban environments, are ways for people to meet each other, to connect with each other, to be around other people. And obviously, that gets reduced in the online world, although people more and more are kind of seeing their social interactions through online. So maybe that becomes less and less of a concern. And then the flip side of it is like, in reality, if you're somebody who really does value training, no one has been able to kind of solve the modality problem of being at home, right? Like if you're doing at home training, like it is limited in scope of what you can do. Like there is no online training where you have a full gym in your garage and now you are training online with a bunch of people at the same time as you would on like a spin bike or a treadmill or something. And I think at some point people kind of realize that their fitness relies on like some variety of tools. And that's just, they haven't solved that problem yet.
No. And I think more and more there's things we pay for in fitness. We pay for access to the tools, like you said. Mm-hmm. You could join a Lifetime Fitness, a big box gym, Planet Fitness, Gold's Gym, Equinox. There is an experience. So you're going in for the the Soul Cycle style, the lights, the camera, the action where there's no camera, the lights, the vibe, the emotions, the experience of that workout. Or I think more and more what we deliver is an environment of community and support. Really, when you come in, you know the people there. More and more people come in that know you, that you're comfortable with. It's cheers. It's very hard to create these spaces because they're organically built on interaction and friendships. You know, that you can't force that. That takes a lot of cultivation and time of many factors, and you have to be patient. You sort of have to let something organically grow. And what we're doing, what I think more and more our jobs are, is to find fertile soil and to just plant seeds.
Yeah.
We're setting conditions to create spaces that people want to exercise in and come back to and be a part of.
Right. Tell me if this resonates with you. So when I started going to the gym, and I started kind of on the cardio floor, and that like kind of lends itself to just being on your own machine and doing your own thing. But then when I found like a little bit of group fitness classes and made my way into the weight room, there's just like a natural hierarchy that occurs, right? When you're new to the weight room, you're kind of trying to figure things out. You're looking at the little infographics on the machines, and you're trying to solve it, and like maybe you're eyeballing someone else who looks a little better than you and like trying to copy them. And then if you just keep showing up over and over again and you're in that same group or you go at that same time, you know, if somebody sees that you're persistent and sees that you're trying hard, they will start to like talk to you and take you under their wing and, you know, help you develop. And, you know, then the strong guy becomes kind of your mentor, and then ultimately you become that mentor for, you know, new people that walk in. Like that is, I think what we're trying to do is like basically accelerate that process like really quickly. But it's just something that's like very hard to achieve if you're not in a room with people, right? And that's like kind of, in the online world, it's just kind of unidirectional. Like it's all just coming from one place. It would be like me standing up in front of the room teaching people how to do stuff. And that's part of what we do. But another part is just like being in the group with other people and having some peer mentoring and other people getting involved with your fitness. And that's a special thing to me in like gyms, or at least me growing up in a gym. And I think something that we are trying to bring to people, like kind of in a really accelerated, special way that doesn't feel forced, but is kind of part of our culture. And I think that's kind of the difference between what we're trying to accomplish and maybe like big online or big group training, that I think a lot of people are drawn to and find special about what we do.
Yeah. And I think we're combining the strength and conditioning room with the weight room, like a general weight room for general population, the strength and conditioning room, like the college athlete, strength coach, militaristic, no bullshitting around, very serious. We, you know, because you have a game day, you have a season, you're there on scholarship, you have a lot of reasons that you have to take this very seriously. We don't have that. We're a general population community of people that just want to enjoy our fitness and be in better shape than we were yesterday. Mm-hmm. But also, we don't want to dilly-dally and not know what to do. So we tell people what to do when we base those decisions on science, not our own like personal beliefs or our own personality of what our preference is. We make those decisions based on scientifically what works in time-tested protocols, and we get people out of their head so they don't have to make those decisions, and then they can just execute the workout and bond with others, form friendships, be part of a community, have interactions with other people that they see on a regular basis that aren't, endless conveyor belt of random people coming through the door. Mm-hmm. And it becomes a long-term, sustainable, very fulfilling practice.
Yeah.
And I don't think people were expecting it when they came to us.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best practices thing is like kind of a big piece of the puzzle that gets somewhat overlooked. Like for some reason, I mean, maybe not for some reason, but we are of the belief that we will just go into a gym, and because we're young men or we've watched, the CrossFit games or American Gladiator or whatever it is that people get their information from, is that we'll walk in a gym and we'll just intuitively know what to do. Like the machines will be laid out in a way that makes sense, and I'll just know how to pick up dumbbells and do it because I've seen it on TV. And it's not that fitness is super complicated or good workouts are super complicated, but there is a system and a process and best practices to it. And I always make this, I always equate it to like doing your own taxes. Like you could do your own taxes. Like it's set up that you can like file your own taxes, but nobody who's smart does. You get an expert to figure it out for you because they're going to get you $5,000 back instead of you having to pay $1,000. And this is like the same thing. Like you're hiring for expertise. Like, is this the most complicated thing in the world? No. Does it take some knowledge and expertise to get it right and keep it engaging and make it safe and push the needle forward on the things that are important to you that you're trying to develop? Yes. Can you do that on your own? Probably not. So I think that's like kind of an overlooked thing. And if we loop that back to group fitness, a lot of times the group fitness model is chasing a certain thing, which is making you feel a certain way, making the workouts hard, which is important. But they're not necessarily using best practices as far as your development as a general population athlete, right? They're just kind of throwing a modality at you that works in their environment. And while that's important, that's just not optimal for most people. So I think that's another thing that group fitness struggles with. I think the at-home thing struggles with that probably more. That's their biggest detriment, is that it's just so limited as to what you could do in a home. But that's one of the things that I'm most proud of that we do, which is, we've created environments where we can unleash best practices, really good workouts, really good training methodology, really well thought through things, really psychologically engaging workouts and training that allow people to do this for the long haul. And I think, doing it, over the course of not weeks, but months and years and decades is really what you should be aiming for and what kind of gets you where you want to go.
Yeah. And it's crazy that we're at this place from where we started the gym, which 2015 was like the heyday of group fitness in New York.
Yeah.
It was exploding. Barre's Bootcamp was exploding across the country. You couldn't have enough concepts. A ClassPass was exploding. People were so pumped about all types of different fitness classes. And it's been 6 years. Maybe this is our 7th year from when we opened. Very quickly, the landscape has changed.
Yeah.
And we're looking at expanding. We're opening new spaces. We're going to grow. And we're seeing a lot of closed gyms. And there's more and more every day. I don't see a lot of group fitness being added into the market or started. You don't see a lot of new concepts for sure. And the ones you do see have kind of been around. A lot of them have cut back the number of studios that they have. And I don't think people have the same interest that they did before.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just a matter of they're just more savvy? Like they went from, when you're talking about, or maybe even really when the whole group fitness thing started, you're talking about transferring from like, Tybo tapes and 8-minute abs. And, group fitness was so exciting and such a leap forward that people kind of jumped into that. And now they've gotten a little bit, maybe the consumer's a little bit more savvy and a little bit more thoughtful, or what do you think? Why was that such a big thing 6-7 years ago? And why do you think it's kind of fading now?
Because I think in a big way, those group fitness classes, they bet on the experience being sustainable, and they didn't imagine the drug-like effect of the classes wearing off or becoming less potent over time.
Right.
A lot of these classes were set to deliver the same type of experience every single class. And you might have, arms and abs in one day and, legs and glutes another day. But it's going to be the same lights, same sound system, same music experience, the same treadmill, the same weights. And every time you do it, you know even more what to expect, and it has less of a novel effect on your experience. And the first time you did it, you're riding high, your endorphins are through the roof. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. I didn't know what to expect. It was so novel. The next time, oh wow, that was a great workout, but you knew what was going to happen. The next time, you see where it goes. COVID happens, shuts it all down, breaks the pattern. And people probably weren't really all that jazzed with it while they were doing it, but they kept doing it because it was what they were used to doing and just didn't feel like going out and exploring something else. They got in a routine of doing it at home, and it was basically the same thing. And then when things started opening up again, they're like, nah, I can do this. I can have this experience on my phone in my living room and follow along with, Courtney Simmons's online workout app and have this experience. And I do think people are looking for more. I think fitness changes a ton. Every 10 years, you can really see it look at different seasons, or it goes through different phases. And the next thing, we're all in on what we do. But I think we're in a new category that's not really common knowledge yet.
Right.
I don't think the small friend training squads is a normal thing. Right. And I think when most people start up with us, they've never trained like this before. Yeah. And the only people that sort of have some experience doing it played college or professional sports, and they were part of a team, and they participated in serious strength and conditioning with a coach on a program and had close relationships with their teammates. And I think that's why a lot of former athletes enjoy what we do. But for most people, this is a new experience for them.
Right.
And they like it. They get excited. They tell their friends, but it's very hard to articulate because it's not really part of the common knowledge yet.
Yeah, I think we've been doing this for so long in this way now that it's a little bit hard for us to even realize that a lot of people haven't experienced something like this, or don't even know that something like this exists.
Do you think when we started the gyms, we wanted to fix group fitness?
No, we wanted to fix personal training.
Yeah, it wasn't really, group fitness wasn't even a thing that we were, in our heads at least, competing with or trying to dethrone at all. I always kind of saw it as a separate thing, a kind of, an experience-based workout.
Yeah.
Rather than a progressive, accountable system.
Right. Yeah, definitely different than what we do. I think we straddle the line a little bit because it is not one-on-one, and it's not something that you're on your own. So probably technically it is group fitness in that we are in groups of up to 4 people at a time. But just has a very different, I think our philosophy and our strategies are just very different than a typical group fitness model. And I think that's why we kind of separate ourselves from them and not thinking that this is something that we're combating against. But not to talk too pragmatically or too kind of businessy, but we've managed to keep our price points at a spot where it is not very different from huge group fitness. And if you if you want something kind of more systematic, more, I call it meaningful. Maybe that doesn't resonate with everyone. You have that option here where you can do this without a huge swing in your budget, and get something a little bit more pragmatic and a little bit more meaningful than maybe just random group workouts, which is maybe part of the reason why we're seeing, more and more success and more people coming to us now.
Yeah. What about personal training? You think you think it's going to stick around, stay the same, pick up?
So I think personal training has a spot. I think it has a role. I think it always will. I think it always should. I think there's some people whose goals are so specific that they need to be in a personal training environment. I think the pitfall is, or the kind of, the warning sign for people is everyone thinks that their fitness or their needs is special, and that's not the case for most people. Most people want the same things that everybody else wants. They want to improve their body composition or their aesthetics. They want to feel healthier. They want to get stronger. They want to run faster or improve their work capacity. They want to avoid injury. They want to, drive longevity. All those things are general fitness things, and that's what most people want. If you want to squat 900 pounds, if you're trying to make an Olympic team and you need to take 0.1 seconds off your time, if you were in a catastrophic injury situation like an accident, I think like coming back from that, I think those are really good roles for the one-on-one personal trainer to fulfill, because you need specific interventions in a lot of those cases. But for the other 98% of people, I think something like this really works. So I see personal training sticking around, but I see it being very specialized and really for the super talented, who can really make those meaningful changes to people in very specific ways. And I think for the last 10 years, 15 years, personal training has been seen is a lot of ways a side hustle for people to make money instead of being waiters. And I think that goes away because there's going to be us and other people like us, I have to imagine, who just give you a better mousetrap of how to solve that problem without spending $150 an hour just, to have someone watching you do it.
Yeah.
Who's not really contributing.
I see it as a great way to gain the specific knowledge of that person. If there's someone who's really exceptional at a particular thing, weightlifting coach, bodybuilder, energy systems guy, but I want to know what this person knows. I want them personally to rub off on me. Hire them as a personal trainer. Get as much. People pay so much money for coaching for people that are really great at their craft. Way more than $200 an hour, right? I mean, we know a guy who paid $120,000 for 4 hours of coaching, right? So what you're doing at any level, personal training or personal coaching of any type, you are trying to gain that person's identity and integrate it into your own self, life, way of thinking about things, way of going about things, way of doing things, becoming that person, letting them rub off on you. And I think if you want some of those traits that somebody possesses and there's someone who's very good at it, pay for their time. Be with them in a one-on-one environment for as long as you can afford, or until you can't get anything else from them, until it's all rubbed off on you.
Right.
But I think it can be a great thing.
For sure. But I just feel like there's so few adults where that experience aligns with their goals or makes it sustainable, right? Like unless you're like kind of very wealthy.
And I don't think there's that many truly elite personal trainers out there.
It's hard.
They're mostly average at best. And that's the nature of all things. I mean, I'm not speaking just to personal trainers, but, musicians, athletes, business people, there's going to be a very few that are the top 1%.
Sure.
Those are the people that you want to learn for in any area.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of personal coaching, you're going to want to have the person who's the best at it. You want that 1%. And unless you're an expert in the field and you know who's who and what's what and what to look for, how are you going to know whether the person that you're paying is one of those really exceptional people that it's worth paying that much for their time?
Yeah. The criteria is, it's tough to navigate. Because when it comes to like physical capabilities, a lot of times you don't know what to look for. And if someone is really capable, let's say someone is the best power lifter, it doesn't necessarily make them the best powerlifting coach. We've talked about this on a previous podcast. So like identifying who the right person is tricky. But it's doable. It's I just think it's like kind of such an extraordinarily unique situation where you would, as an adult, the people that we're servicing, the people who come to us, I can't identify any of, and this is coming from us making our living as personal trainers prior. It's not that I have anything against that industry. Can't think of anybody that we have in our community that I would refer to a personal trainer instead of doing.
No, I don't think it would work better for anybody that I know. Yeah. Wouldn't go that route.
Yeah. Maybe there was someone who inquired. I definitely maybe spoken to somebody who inquired where they might have been better served by a personal trainer, but I can't even remember when that would have been.
All right. So the future, the next 5 years of fitness, what are trends you think are going to increase? What are we going to see more of? Where's the value right now?
Oof, gosh, that's a great question. I mean, if I could answer that, I probably could get rich.
We're doing it. We're actively trying to solve this problem in our business.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's people like us who are taking a very systematic, pragmatic approach to training people towards their actual specific goals. And part of that is finding a way to build in community and engagement and make it all allow for a lot of consistency. Because I think you and I would both argue that, while being diligent about the training program is like super important and it's part of what we do and part of what we value, showing up, even if the program was not tip top and you showed up multiple times a week and you had a great experience and you put in a great effort every time you walked in the gym, that you would yield the best results if you just kept coming back and doing that and doing that. So I think places that can create that environment where you feel great about walking in the door, people care about you, you're going to have a good experience, you're going to train hard, it's going to be smart, and you're going to want to keep going back because the experience is great and your friends are there and the environment is great and the program is psychologically engaging and there's enough variety that you are stimulated, but not too much variety that you never get better at anything. And I realize as I'm saying this, I'm just describing our business here. So maybe I am biased, but, I think that's why we're doing what we're doing, because that is what we foresee. I think if we saw something different that would be better, we would be doing that. Yeah. Not that we can't be wrong, but I think from everything that we know, and we spend a lot of time thinking about this and analyzing it and seeing what's out there and what's doable, this is what we've come up with. And when something else comes along that we think is better, we will do that. I always tell people if nap pods or spin bikes or whatever worked, like that's what the gym would be filled with, and that's what we would do. The Barbell Association of America does not pay us to use barbells. Like, we use them because we believe in them. And we were even talking about some variety, even adding to that this morning, like based on other things that we've seen. Like, we will just continually hunt down what works for people. And I think the companies and the gyms and the spaces that are willing to do that, put the client experience and result first, are going to be the ones that win. And I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I know that that's going to have to be part of it.
I totally agree, man. People want organic experiences, real experiences with real people where they are making progress and growing, where nobody's going to stop doing something that they're getting better at and growing at.
Right.
And if they're getting real-time feedback and they like the people that they're around and they feel that they're being progressed and they are getting that feedback and that experience, they're not going to stop.
Right.
And I think those environment situations, businesses that are delivering that are going to, I think they're going to see some growth over the next 5-10 years.
Yeah. I will say this, if anything makes our clients feel great, it should be this. I am constantly worried about people not doing it anymore and constantly thinking about ways to keep them doing it. And I think that is the only way to progress the business and progress the experience and make sure that what we're doing works and is what people want to do. So I don't think we ever sit back and think like we've got it solved. I think we constantly have an eye on how do we keep moving forward? How do we keep making this interesting? How do we bring in new things that work? And not just for newness sake, but because it's the best thing that we can do for people. And I think as long as we're doing that, we're going to be in good shape.
So let's get to work.
Yep.
Let's get going. So I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
And we are the co-founders of The Fort. We take this seriously.
And we do what works.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks.